They just told me.
Graham.
Hey family, how you doing today? Thanks so much for joining the Cam Hill Show. On today, we're going to be talking about what's happening in America with my buddy Dennis Glenn Sr. Hey, my friend, how you doing?
I'm doing just great, Cam. How are you doing, my brother?
Hey, I had to find the best to help me on today. We have to talk about what's happening in America. We've been talking a little bit. I'll tell you, Mr. Dennis Glenn, if you don't know, it's the best of the best here in not Houston, Texas, but Texas and the surrounding here areas of United States. Let's talk about this Iran war. Let's just get into it, Dennis. What's going on?
One of the things about this Iranian war is this is all a distraction. Not only is it a distraction, it's also a profit for the Trump family. Mm-hmm. Because, I've been doing a little digging into the investments that he has under his son's name. They're invested in a drone company, out of Israel. And, they're manufactured here in the United States.
Right.
And this whole war has been nothing but drone attacks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, this is, it's twofold. He's trying to distract from the Epstein files, and he's trying to make a bunch of money before he runs away and get away from his country. Because I'm going to tell you what he's going to do. If the House and the Senate flips, they're going to impeach him, and he's going to be brought up on charges. So I know that he's going to flee to another country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And looking at this, and I've researched a lot, just like yourself, looking at it, he now is telling them to stop the war so he can talk to Iran and have these conversations with Iran. But as I was digging a little bit, Iran was like, no, we haven't talked to him about that. There's no discussion about that. But I do understand he wants to stop the war. He does want the war to stop. But does Israel want it to stop? Because
I don't believe, it's hard to believe that he wants the war to stop. Mm-hmm. I believe he's saying that because he sees his numbers dropping in the polls.
Right.
Because the American people are not liking this war.
No.
And the thing about it is, why would you send 5,000 troops, get 5,000 Marines over there?
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you want to stop the war, why would you put ground troops down in there?
Right. But isn't it interesting how Russia is helping Iran?
Very interesting. And Putin supposed to be his buddy. That's Putin's buddy. He said, I got a good relationship with Putin.
Right. They're best friends. What he told us.
But did you see Putin stop the war in Ukraine?
He did.
He said that on day 2, when he's in office, Putin would stop attacking Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And they're still over there fighting. Still, right now. Yeah.
And what's so crazy is, so Iran is across the water from Dubai and Qatar, right? So I got information and people were sending me videos over and over again. They are sitting at the restaurant and they see missiles just flying across their head. Now they're in Dubai.
And we got American visitors over there visiting.
Yes, exactly.
I posted on Facebook, why are y'all taking trips overseas right now when there's a war going on?
Yes. And what was the response? Any response?
Oh, they're not messing with us. We're American. I said, you're going to be the prime target.
Right.
Well, they don't mess with black folks. I say, you know what collateral damage is?
Exactly.
They might not be trying to kill you black folks, but they might be getting you trying to kill some white folks that are surround you.
That's right.
That's collateral damage.
That's so right. We were talking about the TSA and the issue with the airports. My God, 3 to 4 hours, people are standing in line just to get through.
And the bad part about it, most of them are missing their flights.
Yes.
So, I mean, if they tell you get to the airport at, 2 or 3 hours ahead of time, But by the time you get through, the plane's going to take off.
Right, right. And then they got to try to get you on another plane.
Right. But here's the thing, though. Isn't the airline losing money?
No, the airline's still making money. And
They sure.
then I found out on their ticket, a girl sent me her ticket. On your ticket, there is a fee that is paid to TSA through the government. There's a
What?
service fee. The service fee that she was researching is part of the amount of monies through the government. It's gone to the government fund, but that particular fund is supposed to pay TSA. Every ticket has it. I think it's $5.60 on every ticket. So if it's round trip, it's what, $11.20 or something like that?
Yeah.
So your round trip ticket, $11.20, goes to this fund that's supposed to pay TSA.
So let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't they paying TSA?
Exactly.
Because Trump, they said they came up with a deal, but every time they get a deal, Trump tells the Republicans, don't vote on that.
Right, because he wants the SAVE Act to be part of it.
Right.
Everything he wants that SAVE Act in there. And they want to separate the SAVE Act and just put it to where we open the government with everything else. Because the Republicans and the Democrats have agreed. They have agreed. They'll take that out, put it in front of him, and he keeps rejecting it.
Yeah, because he likes. Let me tell you something. This man is a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
He likes control. He wants to be in control of everything. He wants to be in control of he wants his name on airports. He wants his name on bridges. He already put his name on the Kennedy Center.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what I don't understand about our people who say, well, he's doing good. He's getting rid of the immigrants. But how many black people you see climbing on roofs, putting on?
Right. Right.
How many you see doing concrete work when it's 100 degrees?
Right. You're right.
You know, when I was a kid growing up in Third Ward, going to school at Will Rogers, every morning on that city bus, you saw black maids going to people's houses.
Yes.
Cleaning up in the River Oaks area.
Yes.
But you don't see that now because we have evolved from those type of jobs.
Mm-hmm. We have.
But
I agree.
people are worried about this, and he's so worried about this SAVE Act because he's afraid that he's going to lose the House and the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And he already is losing.
Mm-hmm. 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 He is. He's already losing. You can see Florida. We were just talking about Florida.
Yeah.
He sent in, well, people don't know, in Florida, he sent in a mail-in ballot because he lives in Mar-a-Lago, okay? His house is there. He has a property there. So in that area, there is Republican and Democrat. The lady that is Democrat is Caucasian. The person that's running against her, that's a Republican, is African American. And she won.
Yeah.
She won, Democrat. So guess what? His house is now in a Democratic area where that represents him.
Right.
The Democrat represents him.
And he's hot.
That's right. He is hot because the special election is what he sent in the mail-in ballot for. That's the reason he said.
And he's against mail-in ballots.
That's right. He's against mail-in ballots.
But he mailed in a ballot.
He mailed in a ballot. He sure
Make
did.
that make sense. It's amazing how people can't see this man for what he is, a con artist.
Yeah.
He's truly, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I voted Republican on some people. I mean, I like President Bush, the second.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, my first election was Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you have to pick and choose. You should know this man's worse than Nixon.
Right. And they talked about that. Ted Cruz talked about Nixon. He talked about that. He talked about the fact that with Nixon, people got involved. Republican and Democrat said, this ain't right. This is not right. They both did. Right. But like he said now, but nobody's saying anything. Nobody's saying anything to Trump like they said to Nixon.
Right. And you want to know why?
Now, this is Ted Cruz saying this.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you why. See, most of those older senators and Congress people up there, they pointed at him when they were young.
Yeah.
And he videotaped them.
Yes.
doing whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
he's using that over their heads.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
know, because you just doing well. Some of these guys are just look at how many of them just quit when he got in the second term.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Remember the old Speaker of the House?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There, I mean, and now people, even Republicans as well as Democrats, but it's a lot of Republicans are not running again. This is it. They're not going to run.
Because they can't show their faces in their hometowns.
Yeah, they're not going to run.
You know, it's just it's we got a con man running the greatest country in the world, and with the best military in the world, and we got a fool in the head at the head of it.
Yes, I agree with that. I really do. It's a shame. It's a shame, though. It's unfortunate of how even America is depicted throughout the country. How people are laughing at us. I mean, really, they are laughing at us.
But you know something that we need to discuss, Cam, is the responsibility that we have as voters, because there's no way in the world Jasmine Crockett should have lost.
Right. Absolutely. Let's talk about it.
Puerto Rico won by 124,000 votes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yet 246,000 Democrats did not vote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right here in Harris County.
Right.
89,000 people did not vote in Harris County. 39,000 didn't vote in Fort Bend County.
Right.
Now imagine if those folks had voted.
Right. Just in this area, they doing
just
all
in this area.
Yes.
Because you shouldn't, common sense should tell us that the reason they didn't want that woman in there because she's a thorn in their side.
Right.
But we have so many black men now saying, well, that's not the place of a woman to be in leadership.
Right.
Who took care of these families during the Depression? Who took care of that during slavery?
Right. I agree.
If it weren't for strong black mothers, we wouldn't be here.
Right. But see, this is what I didn't understand, even when Kamala Harris was running. First of all, if Joe Biden and by Kamala Harris being the vice president, but Joe Biden, if something had happened to him, she was going to be president anyway. That's what I didn't understand. I didn't understand the craziness of that. She was going to be president anyway if something happened to him.
Exactly. So had he ran,
yes,
and did step down,
yes,
she'd have been the president.
She would have been a president automatically.
Yeah.
She would have been.
I don't think the people that they had around them, are sharp. You know, I read Tom Andrews' book some years back. And Tom Andrews really wasn't a football head coach. He was a businessman.
Right.
But he was a smart man. So what he did is he surrounded himself with great people.
Right.
That made him do what? Be great.
That's true.
6 of his coaches that became head coaches all won Super Bowls. A president like Obama put everybody around him that he knew could do the job. Trump put everybody around him who he knows he can tell what to do.
Right. That's true.
You know, just like Pam Bundy. She don't want to release those files because she in the files.
Yeah. That's true. And they know what's in the files. You got 3 million pages, okay? And they said he's in there, and it might be comical. He's in there over 1 million times, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, he never flew on his plane.
Never.
He never visited his island.
Never. He
was. But yet we see pictures and videos of him.
Right. That's not him. He said it wasn't him.
Yeah.
That was AI. That wasn't him.
So what he does is he continues to say that, and he makes these fools believe, his cult people believe what he's saying. If he said it enough times, they start believing him.
He does.
That's the scary part.
Well, right now, he said the Iran war was not his choice. Pete was the one who decided that. You know what I'm saying? He blamed it on him just the other day.
He blamed it on who? Pete Hegseth?
Yes. He blamed it.
Man.
He blamed
I ain't gonna blame it on another sycophant.
He blamed it on him. He sure did.
If Trump told him to jump up and down on the stairs of the Capitol butt naked, he would do it.
and exactly. But he said it was his. He did not. He brought it to him, and that's how the Iran war started. But now he's ready. Man, craziness.
You put a disgraced major from the National Guard over the Defense Department.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree. Donald Trump says he didn't start the Iran war. He puts the entire blame on his defense secretary, and that's Pete Hegseth.
He good for throwing people under the bus.
And threw him right under the bus. He threw him right.
But he's good. I mean, but they're like common sense would tell him, if you mess up, he gonna throw you under the bus and blame you.
That's it. But your buddy, Russia. I mean, Russia, the guy from Russia is your buddy, your friend.
Yeah. You got your friend fighting your soldiers.
Yeah.
We have lost 16 people so far.
Right. That we
because
know
of this war.
Yes.
And he said, we're going to smash them. And then I saw an interview that he did where he said, Kamala Harris is going to start a war. If you vote for her, she'll start a war. She'll be sending your sons and daughters overseas in wars. But yet, he said he obliterated Iran's nuclear program.
He did.
He said, nothing else. They could never do it. But then all of a sudden, a month later, you attacking them?
Right. But then he said the war was almost over and that we stopped. But I'm like you. Why are you still sending people over there then?
Yeah.
Why are you sending people to the Middle East? There's no reason for that.
And we're sending them into the desert where our people are not trained to fight in the desert.
Right. That's true. That's a true statement.
First of all, the heat is a son of a gun now.
It is.
These people got caves, and you really gonna send a bunch of kids over there to die.
Yeah, you really are.
And the thing that pisses me off the most about it is that I've encouraged a lot of young people who didn't have direction, who didn't have guidance, who didn't want to go to college. I usually send them to the military because they can get education free. They can get their feet on the ground. They get something behind them. So when they do come out, they can get a good job.
Right.
But now I can't tell kids to do that.
Right.
I'm a part of the rodeo with education. Every year I talk to parents about getting their children free money to go to college. You know what the biggest drawback is for people? My child don't want to ride no horse or play with no cow. I said, you live in the state of Texas. This is an agricultural state.
Right.
Your child could be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse. All they have to do is stay in Texas and maintain a 2.6 GPA.
Right.
And you can get a scholarship. And you can go from getting your bachelor's to your PhD. Both of my children and my nephew all went to college on rodeo scholarships.
Wow.
Free money.
Right.
And that's all the free money we got right now. Because remember, the president got rid of the Department of Education.
Yeah, he sure did.
No more Pell Grants. He's taking that money and throwing it away.
Yep, he is.
But people talking about, Trump, he gave HBCUs $2 million.
Now, how many HBCUs do we have? And they're gonna divide that with $2 million. That's why. What is $2 million? People in their mind think that's a lot of money. It's not. It's nothing.
It's not.
That's not.
Even if he gave $2 million to each one of the 347 campuses, that's still not enough money to make the school run.
It sure
but yet, Biden gave him $61 billion.
Yes.
See, so what he does is he put things out in the air for people to say, oh, look what Trump did. But they're not really thinking about the big picture.
They're not.
Because the big picture is him putting most of his money in his pocket.
That part.
With Doge. Speaking of Doge, when was that time you seen Elon Musk? What happened to Elon?
You were talking about voting. I want to go back to that part because I don't think we really understand what the concept is of voting. We don't know that the John Lewis bill has not passed and it's still an act for us. I mean, a sitting president, whoever it could be, can change their mind. I don't know that they would want to, but they could.
But the voting, the thing about voting is our people have gotten last day school about, voting. They don't realize that if you vote on the local level,
right,
it transitions to the state and the federal level.
Right. Right.
And we have to start showing up for these because they're trying to take away our voting rights.
They are. Well, we could see this with the redistricting, the remapping.
Yeah, with the remapping of the districts.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. This situation that we have in the 18th district is very clear. Yeah, very clear of what's happening right now. Christian Menifee and Al Green. One of them is not going to win. I mean, that's just clear, right?
And the thing, and that's, my problem with Al Green is, come on, bro. It's time for new blood. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a season. Mm-hmm. And when your season, it's just like when I was a firefighter. I don't want to run in nobody's buildings at 62, 63 years old.
Right. Yeah.
Bring in some young people. Mm-hmm. Same thing with, being a congressman is a challenging job. The travel, the late nights in conferences. Mm-hmm. When you're 78 years old, you don't want to be doing that.
Right.
And people say, well, Dennis, he has the experience. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had the same conversation with Harold Dutton about 5-6 years ago. I saw him at a funeral last month and I asked him, what happened to the lady you was grooming? Mm-hmm. Well, Dennis, she died. I said, didn't you have me? Did I tell you to get 2 or 3 people to groom them? Mm-hmm. See, these people, just like Sheila Jackson Lee, she did not groom anybody. Sylvester Turner didn't groom anybody. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. These people have over 100 years of experience all combined, but yet still they're not bringing up the next generation of fighters.
Mm-hmm. But you see how they did it when everything was changed. First of all, we changed the remapping, right? We remapped it. That meant that we remove Al or someone out of there. So even though we put Christian in there, we could have had Al in there, and we could have kept Jasmine in there. Well, now we're removing the voices. Now we're removing there you go. Now we're removing someone that's stating something and saying something. We don't want them to talk. We want the others to just be there, right? So we're going to change everything around. That's how we're going to remove a person. We're going to change it.
And the thing about it is, Texas was blue at first. Mm-hmm. I don't see how we became red. Ann Richards was running this country, and she did a hell of a job as a governor of the state.
She did. Ann Richards definitely did. I agree.
And when we lost her, then we got Perry. Mm-hmm. Then we got Governor Hot Wheels. And how he keeps winning, I will never know.
I'm glad you brought him up because I wanted to talk about him on today because of the fact that now he's in November.
Yes.
Gina Hinosa. She has an opportunity. She has a huge opportunity
to smash him.
Exactly, but they got to hear it. I hear it all the time. Kim, where is Gina Hinosa? Where is she? What is her platform? People don't even know what her platform is.
Yeah, and she really needs to come to Harris County.
She's got to come. She's exactly, and let people know when she's here.
Yeah,
she's here. I've seen her different places, but do people know that
who she is?
There you go.
Who she is and what she stands for.
Right. Absolutely.
And we need to have her more visible. And like for instance, do you know that Harris County and Fort Bend have the largest Democratic black vote in the country? Yeah. Not just the state, but in the country. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. These 2 counties.
Right.
But we haven't learned to use our power.
That's it.
We have the power. We just don't have the consciousness of the people to want to get out and do what they need to do.
Right. Right. And we got to come together.
Yeah.
We got to collaborate and come together. You see every other nationality that's together. Vietnamese, are together. Hispanics together. You're
They're
right.
Together.
Always. They'll pool their money together. They'll live in the same house just to get another house. They'll save to get another house for another family and things.
Man,
like
my foreman, he's been working with me since he was 13 years old. His daddy worked for my grandfather.
Right.
They bought a house. They bought one house in South Park.
Right.
And they ended up now they have 12 houses on that one street.
Wow.
Because they all lived in one house together.
They did.
They pooled their money.
They pooled their money and saved. They saved their money.
Oh,
they saved their money. And now they got 12 houses?
12 houses.
On that same street.
On that same street. Pershing Street, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
But see, that's, it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. We messed up when we had integration.
Yeah.
We got divided. When you get divided, you get conquered. And black folks, we got black folks living in communities that don't even know their neighbors because they're living in the suburbs now. And they don't want to communicate with their neighbors. They drive in their garages and they shut it down and they're isolated. Back when we were coming up, you knew all your neighbors.
Right.
You knew everybody in the community. Everybody in the community knew you.
That's true. That's true.
As a kid, I hung out in South. I'm from Third Ward, born and raised, but I hung out in Third Ward. I hung out in South Park. I hung out in Sunnyside, Cloverland. You know what? The only place I didn't hang out too much was North Side. I got family on there, but I still know people from the North Side.
Right.
But now we have gotten to the point where we don't do this anymore.
Right.
We're divided. I keep this same slave ship behind me as a reminder how my people got here.
Yeah.
And how we got separated.
That's it.
And when I talk to these kids, these little game bangers, and I tell them all the time, you don't even know who you might be trying to kill. You could be killing your family member.
Yeah, that's true.
Because our families were split up. So what you just said is we need to come together. We have to show them why we need to come together.
Right, we do. We got to let people know. How do we come together?
They got to know because that's why we're separated. That's why we can't win because we are so divided. By social economics. I don't need to deal with them people there because they don't have no money. No, you should want to bring up people. Right. We have to bring up our people. You see a man down, help him up, bring him up.
Right. That's true. What would you like to leave with the listeners, my friend?
What I would like to leave is that first of all, we need to start reading.
Yeah.
We need to invest in the knowledge that these people use against us all the time. In order to know what your enemy is doing, you have to learn to listen to them and go and read what they're thinking. My grandfather used to say all the time, if a white man wakes up at 6 a.m, we need to be up at 4.
Right.
Because we need to be prepared for what he's thinking. So that's the thing about, Republicans. Michelle Obama said, well, when they go low, we go high. No, when they go low, we need to go low too, because guess what? That's how they fight. And this man is showing us how they fight. They fight low and dirty.
They do.
Well, Cam, it's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
I appreciate you so much for coming on. And let me just be clear. When I called Dennis today, Dennis said, I'm there, Cam. I'm there with you, my friend. And I
anytime you need me, brother.
So much. I appreciate you so much. We have got to be in this so we can win this together.
Exactly.
I thank you for your friendship. I thank you for the collaboration always, my friend. Thank you.
Anytime, Cam.
With me. Thanks, my
friend. Come by and see me sometime at the restaurant. Have one with me.
I will.
Bring you and your wife, man.
I will. Thank you so much. Take care.
You too, brother. Take care.
Family. You too. Bye bye.
Graham.
Later.